Welcome to the Law Society of America. Don't forget to subscribe right now for the latest updates on U.S. laws, groundbreaking court cases, and the political decisions shaping our country. Today we are covering a powerful shift in American law that directly affects the digital age we live in. For too long, victims of revenge porn, people whose private, intimate photos or videos were shared without consent, have lived in silence, shame, and fear. Their lives were torn apart by a single upload, a single message, or a single betrayal. And for years, the law failed them. But that reality is changing, and today, revenge porn is officially a federal crime in the United States. On May 19, 2025, President Donald Trump signed the Take It Down Act into law, with the First Lady by his side. This moment wasn't just symbolic, it was historic. The United States has now recognized that in the era of smartphones, social media, and artificial intelligence, protecting intimate privacy is just as important as protecting property or physical safety. For the first time, there is a nationwide standard, and the consequences for violating it are serious. Let's dive into what this means. The Take It Down Act makes it illegal at the federal level to share, distribute, or post private intimate images without the consent of the person involved. This includes real photographs, videos, and, critically, artificially created deepfakes. With AI technology, people can now create highly realistic fake sexual images of someone who never consented, and until this law, there was little legal protection against it. Now, those who create or share these materials face federal prosecution. The law also places responsibility on online platforms. Social media companies, adult content websites, hosting services, and even messaging apps can no longer look the other way. Once notified of non-consensual intimate images, they are required to take them down within 48 hours. If they fail to do so, they can face financial penalties and potentially federal investigation. This provision is a game changer, because previously victims would beg platforms to remove harmful content, often waiting weeks, months, or never seeing action. Now, the law forces urgency. But why was this law so badly needed? Let's look at the past. For over a decade, revenge porn victims described their suffering in chilling terms. A single upload could spread across hundreds of websites in hours. Employers, colleagues, family members, and friends could see these private images. Victims lost jobs, faced public humiliation, endured threats and stalking, and some tragically took their own lives. One of the most famous early cases involved Hunter Moore, who ran a website literally dedicated to revenge porn, profiting off people's pain. He was eventually arrested, but only after years of damage had been done. At the state level, the patchwork of laws was uneven. By 2024, 48 states had laws against revenge porn, but they varied widely. In some states, offenders got a small fine. In others, they faced years in prison. Some laws only applied if the perpetrator intended harm, meaning cases were dismissed if prosecutors couldn't prove intent. And in certain situations, crossing state lines with digital content left prosecutors powerless. That inconsistency left thousands of victims without justice. The Take It Down Act changes everything by creating a single federal standard. Whether you are in California, Texas, Ohio, or New York, the law applies equally. No more loopholes, no more jurisdictional confusion. If the crime happens online, the federal government can step in. Politically, this bill is one of the rare cases where both Republicans and Democrats found common ground. Advocacy groups had long argued that the digital world required new legal protections. Survivors testified before Congress, explaining how their lives were destroyed by revenge porn. Even tech companies, often criticized for resisting regulation, supported this bill because they too faced increasing public pressure to act responsibly. Supporters say this law does more than punish criminals, it sends a cultural message. It says that privacy matters, that consent matters, and that dignity matters. In an era where people are constantly connected, the law draws a firm line between sharing with permission and exploiting without consent. Of course, critics exist. Some free speech advocates warn the law could be abused, leading to over-censorship. Platforms, in fear of penalties, might remove content too quickly, even if it isn't revenge porn. There are also concerns about enforcement. The internet is vast, and once an image is uploaded, it often spreads across multiple sites instantly. Can the law truly contain something that viral? Experts say the law won't completely eliminate revenge porn, but it will give victims faster tools for removal and stronger avenues for justice. This law also puts the US in line with other countries. The United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Japan already have strong national laws against non-consensual pornography. In some nations, offenders face years in prison for even a single violation. America, until now, lagged behind, leaving victims at the mercy of inconsistent state laws. The Take It Down Act finally places the US among nations that treat digital sexual abuse as a serious crime. Let's also talk about the impact of deepfakes. Artificial intelligence can now generate realistic sexual images of celebrities, public figures, or even ordinary people with just a few photos. These fake images often go viral, and while the victim never posed for them, their reputation is instantly damaged. The Take It Down Act directly addresses this, making it clear that even fake sexual content, if shared without consent, is a crime. That's a major step forward in adapting law to modern technology. So, what happens next? Federal prosecutors will now begin taking on cases, victims will have new rights, and platforms will be monitored for compliance. Over time, we'll see how judges interpret the law and how strongly penalties are enforced. If successful, this law could drastically reduce the spread of revenge porn and restore power to victims. But perhaps the most important outcome is awareness. By passing this law, the US government is saying loud and clear, victims of revenge porn are not invisible. Their suffering is real, their voices matter, and justice is possible. For those listening right now, remember this: privacy is a right. Consent is non-negotiable. And from now on, revenge porn is not just an act of cruelty, it is a federal crime. Thank you for watching the Law Society of America. Subscribe now, share this video, and join the conversation in the comments below. Together, we will continue to explore the laws that protect our nation and shape our society.